The following podcast discusses my reflections and preferences for worship of God. It includes a reflection of my definition of worship, the ultimate worship experience, specific to what happened to me from which I saw through my own physical sight, and my preference for worship. What is worship? Worship is the act of expressing reverence to God because He is worthy to be praised. The term worship in the Old Testament is translated from the Hebrew word shacha, which means to bow down or prostrate oneself, a posture indicating reverence and homage given to a Lord, whether human or divine. Genesis chapter 24 verse 26 says, "Then the man bowed low and worshipped the Lord." Have you ever had a worship experience that rocked your entire spiritual world? One of my ultimate worship experiences was during a service at the church to which I was licensed and subsequently ordained. During a Christian arts praise performance, the congregation was praising God on one accord. I was playing the part of Jesus. During a certain portion of the Christian arts performance, I had to open the doors of the back of the church and walk down the aisle while dressed in the likeness of Jesus. The spirit of praise and worship was so high during the performance that, when I opened the doors and the congregation turned to see me, I felt a physical power push me back into the vestibule as I attempted to walk down the aisle. It was extremely difficult for me to proceed. The emotion of the song and the power of God was so strong that it flowed through my body like a hot blow of wind without the burn of heat. I felt my unworthiness of playing the part of Jesus. The power of God that blew through the congregation and me was an experience I will never forget. We praised the Lord for almost 2 hours. The pastor found it hard to preach because the spirit of praise was so high. This experience proved that when we are worshiping on one accord, God shows Himself in the midst. My preferences of worship are similar to the aforementioned experience, in that I prefer to be in a worship experience where everyone is worshiping together at the same time, on one accord, for a common purpose. My experience was similar to what I have read about the day of Pentecost in Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2 verses 1 through 4 says, quote, "When the day of Pentecost had come, they were all together in one place, and suddenly there came from heaven a noise like a violent rushing wind, and it filled the whole house where they were sitting. And there appeared to them tongues as of fire distributing themselves, and they rested on each one of them. And they were all filled with the Holy Spirit and began to speak with other tongues, as the Spirit was giving them utterance." End quote. Today, as you enter your devotion, reflect on your preference for the ultimate worship experience in your life and strive for what you desire.